Happy Tuesday. It's Jamie Green, the Solar Queen. And today I am wanting to go live. I thought I'm going to start going live and just sharing some tips about solar energy, solar power in your home and business and whatnot. But I don't know about you guys, but this wind here in Northern California, wow, what it's been roaring. So I woke up several times last night from the wind howling. And I know people probably have some downed fences. I saw on Facebook someone had their fence blew down, a panel blew down, and I don't remember the last time the wind has been this strong. So it's unusual because yesterday it was 80 degrees, sunny, and it's just beautiful day here in January. I took my family and I and my husband, we went to the park and played, and it was like summer. It was gorgeous and glorious. And then I was working on building a solar quote for someone, and I had to call into PG&E and get the usage. And that PG&E had on the phone had announced that there may be some public safety power shutoffs because of the high winds. And I was like, high winds? And sure enough, around, I guess, probably 10 o'clock last night, the wind started whipping up and hitting about 60 miles per hour in some areas, which is crazy. So the topic of today's little live video is what happens, like how do solar panels hold up in the wind? Well, I did just spend some time in Miami for some sales and marketing training. And the conversation down there is obviously hurricane force winds. And so, what are the building codes specific to Miami-Dade County? They have to be able to withstand 160-mile-per-hour winds, at least if they're going to get solar installed down in that very specific location of the world. So, obviously, I went to research and find out information and ask questions. And so solar panels are going to be totally fine and safe when they're installed on your rooftop. Um, up to, like, I would say 110-mile-per-hour winds. You're going to be fine in California, in the Bay Area. We don't see winds like that. So the panels are going to be perfectly fine and safe. It's in those high wind velocity zones or high velocity wind zones that, you're going to maybe take extra precautions and think twice, especially in that one particular part of the country. So here in California, we don't experience things like that. So it's going to be fine. But what's going to maybe occur is your power is going to go out. Thankfully, our power, all of our electric lines, our electricity lines in my neighborhood are underground. So we're lucky because we don't experience power cuts or power outages from the wind, which is nice. So maybe the lights will flicker, maybe not, but I don't think we ever experienced a power outage last night from the wind, which was good. But if you do have solar and your power does go out, if you don't have a backup battery, your system's going to shut down for safety purposes. So that is something to know and understand. And that's because, if it's during the day and your system is energized and it's not, and the power lines are there's a power line down or it needs to be worked on by, a utility worker to get it back up. If your solar system is not shut off, it could harm that person that's working on the electricity line because there's so much power going from your solar system out to the grid if you're not using it in your home at that moment in time. So there's a piece of equipment that's included with your solar system that's very like the workhorse. It's the brains. It's the heart. It's the oh gosh, I'm blanking on the circulatory system. Is that right? Where it's the heart and the brain and it's all functioning together. This is why I'm not a doctor. I did take anatomy and physiology and I really loved that course, but that was like maybe 25, 30 years ago. But it is that important, it's the piece of equipment that takes all the direct current energy and converts it into alternating current, which is the type of energy that's running through our house. So it's converting it. But if it's constantly, feeling things that are coming from the grid, if there's a shut off or like a power cut, it shuts off. The inverter does, and it turns off your solar system for protecting your house, protecting your neighbors' houses, and the grid. So it's really important to understand that. If you have a backup battery, though, well, let me go back. There's a power cut, you have solar. It's that inverter is also waiting for feeds from the grid that power has been restored and it's sustainable. So once it does, then the inverter will re-energize, and then you'll be back to being solar powered if it's during the day. Now, if you have a backup battery, which more and more people in California are getting, you might not notice that there's a power cut. And if you don't notice that there's a power cut, then you might run the risk of continuing to have all of your, different appliances on, or lights on, or running things. If you get a Nixle report, or if you're on Facebook and you see people go, oh my gosh, we just lost power, or whatever it might be, if you see all your neighbors' lights go out and your lights are still on, that might be an indicator that your neighborhood has lost power. And what you want to do is go into conservation. So be conservative with your energy consumption when you have a backup battery, especially if you have one, because that backup battery typically is going to only hold about 10 kilowatt hours of energy. And it's enough to get you through a power cut. So you want to make sure that you, during high wind time, or if you know that the power cut's coming, just go into conservation mode. Justin says it's windy down here in Southern California too. I'm glad you're home and safe, not flying in this one. I know I told my husband, I just did not know there was going to be these huge wind, like this huge windstorm coming through, but it was crazy. I'm sure, I think one of our patio chairs like blew over and everything. So I'll have to go out there and pick everything up. Lots of noise out there. Thankfully, I think all of our fence panels are okay. But so when you get a backup battery, the backup battery is going to tie into your critical loads. Like, you're going to have a sub panel that has all your critical loads. So that just means all the circuits in your house that you want backed up during a power cut. And if that's the case and you don't know the power's gone out and you continue to live your life normally, you're going to drain your battery really fast. And if it's during the day, you're going to have to wait for your system to, your solar system to recharge the battery so that it carries you through the night. So even during a power cut and you have solar and you have a backup battery, you want to go into conservation mode. Now, the last little tip that I'm going to share with you, because I'm going to keep the video really short, is that if you do have a solar system on your house, it is a smart thing to do to call up your insurance company and let them know. And even if it adds a few bucks to your insurance policy, your homeowner's insurance policy, you should let them know that, hey, I have a solar system. This is the value of it, or this is what I paid for it. This is, please add it to my homeowner's insurance. Because if in a windstorm, a tree falls on your house, God forbid that happens, but it does happen, and it lands on your solar system, you are going to be responsible to pay for that solar system to be repaired or, removed and replaced. So, because the warranties, the manufacturer warranties and production warranties and guarantees and all that does not cover acts of God or forces of nature and things like that. Kellen says crazy windy here in Moraga. Yeah, Kellen's over in the East Bay. I'm in the North Bay, and it was whipping through the entire state. And had I not called PG&E yesterday, I would not have known that there was these high winds coming, because I just really don't check the weather all that often, and I don't really watch the news all that often. So yes. So those are just some 4 little tips. If you have solar and you don't have a backup battery and your power gets cut to your neighborhood, your solar system's going to shut down too, out of safety for the grid and anybody working on the power lines that are downed. If you have a backup battery and solar, you're still going to have power when your neighbors don't have power, and you're going to want to make sure you go into conservation mode. And then the third tip is add your solar system and battery to your homeowner's insurance policy, and you'll thank me in the event that anything falls onto your system and damages it. And don't worry, your system is going to stay intact in our 60-mile-per-hour winds. So that is it. Have a great day, and we'll see you. I'm going to try and go live tomorrow too. So if you have questions, let me know. Bye.